is not religion. It's not about believing a certain thing and believing it together and confirming each other's beliefs. It's not actually about that. It has a different purpose. The purpose of yoga or spiritual path is to discover within your own life, within your own self, within your own being, what the sages and saints and prophets and Buddhas are talking about. It's to have direct experience of it, to find it within your own self, not to believe someone else about it, but to find it within your own self and then see what that does within your life. This is really the purpose of yoga or purpose of spiritual path. It's not, in the Christian tradition we would say mystic, but that just means one-to-one, because what you're being guided to is within you. And all the greats will say it's within us, and we would say ultimately it's who we are. The name is irrelevant. In Sanskrit there's the name Brahman. And Brahman, what's the meaning of Brahman? It's not a personal name. One way that it's translated is the infinite and ever expanding, like this. And it will be described, but it's not like, okay, just putting the name Brahman and worshiping Brahman isn't going to do it, although it might not hurt. Might be helpful unless we get attached to it. So the path is spoken of in many ways. And what I wanted to offer, Peace Pilgrim's image is up here. And I mentioned Peace Pilgrim. Anyone heard of Peace Pilgrim? I know you have. I know that you, okay, very good. We talked about her a little bit, I think also a couple of years ago. Okay. So, as far as I can tell, Swami Sivananda brought me in and then he handed Peace Pilgrim to me or me to her or something. She had left the body, but I was asked to walk pilgrimage and I explored her and what she shared. And what we discovered is that she shares this universal spiritual path that's shared in yoga, that is yoga, what we call yoga. She shared it in a uniquely beautiful way. And I just like to suggest that we can talk through it together. It's actually written. Just a little background on her, very little bit. Peace Pilgrim, a real living person. She had taken the name Peace Pilgrim because of what she was asked to do. I could say asked to do or told to do, either one. She had surrendered 15 years prior, and then 1 year and surrendered, she changed the direction of her life. She wanted to make her life an offering instead of focused on receiving. She was inspired to make it an offering. So she said some words to the universal and she asked for help and she was given guidance and support. And she worked with the Quakers for years, but she was very motivated to peace, world peace and inner peace. And she found inner peace to a great extent. And then she was given a vision, which I have a little familiarity with, of walking across the country and in a very specific way. She saw it place by place. And she had a choice, and what she was being asked to do was what she did, which was walk pilgrimage for peace. And she would say this, everyone here has heard of pilgrimage. You've heard of pilgrimage, okay. And she would say pilgrimage is either to a place or for a thing. And there's a traditional way, pilgrimage is walked. It's not, in this age people say, I'm on yatra, I'm on pilgrimage in these big buses. But the tradition of pilgrimage is walking by foot. And she would say to a place or for a thing. And one of the famous ones would be Santiago. In fact, I know someone in our extended family, you've heard of it, El Camino del Santiago in Spain.
Yes.
And
Spain.
Do you know of anyone who's walked it?
Oh yeah, I know one.
Okay, beautiful.
Yes.
And one of our extended family is walking it right now. And so it's known. So that's an example. what's less known is walking pilgrimage for thing. And she said that's what she was doing. My thing is peace. And so I walked for peace. So she walked in peace for peace. And we'll touch on, ideally we'll dive into what inner peace means. So does this sound like a good topic for us to discuss?
Yes.
Okay. She, just a little, because it's mind-boggling. It really is mind-boggling. Her example, she walked in the traditional way, not asking for rides and not accepting rides. So all on foot, she said, I walk until offered shelter, and I fast until offered food. She carried nothing. I'm exaggerating. She had a comb, a toothbrush, and a pen. That's it. She had here there's an image of her here. You'll see Peace Pilgrim. That's a tunic that she had sewn, and it had pockets in the bottom of it. And so every now and then there would be some envelopes before the internet. And so in this traditional style, on foot and in faith is the way she would say. And whatever she needed, whatever was needed to support, clearly was provided. She walked for 26 women to walk the, what's the East Coast walking trail? Big trail, long trail. It's famous. Sorry? Appalachian Trail. She was the first woman to walk the full Appalachian Trail. She walked it from south to north.
About how old was she when she started?
Well, here's what she would say when she was asked. I'll give you both answers.
Know?
I'll give you both answers. But what she would say whenever she was asked how old she was, I have to do that to be true to her. She would smile and she would say, I'm so grateful not to have to count anymore. I am not this body. I am that which animates the body. I am eternal and I am in radiant health. This is her answer. Now, she would also say that my hair had already turned gray when I began. So she wasn't completely trying to fool us or something, but which was so. So we got close to the age, but it's, the age that the hair turns completely gray, like that. That's what she started. So not a spring chicken, as she would say also. And 1953, January 1st, 1953, she started her project. She called it her retirement project, Peace Pilgrimage. And she walked in this spirit, and she walked for 27 years. By the time she completed, and she completed when she left the body, because she had committed herself to do it, until mankind has learned the way of peace. And it's always, we learn one person at a time, don't we? And so it's a project she signed up to. She walked, by the time she left the body, she had walked through all 50 states in the US, all of the provinces in Canada, all the states in Mexico, all the capitals of all the provinces and states, and every town or city of at least 10,000 population. She had walked through all of them by the time she had left. And the simple message that she shared, we could say it in words, she did. This is the way of peace. Overcome wrong with right, falsehood with truth, and hatred with love. Very simple message, which she embodied. And she embodied it through all of the tests. Now, can you imagine not carrying anything, not asking for anything, not wearing anything other than the clothes on your back, and walking across the country? Can you imagine it? So it's mind-boggling, isn't it? Yeah. And I can testify the walk through the desert alone is 3 months. It's not, you can fly over it in a couple of hours, but to walk through the desert, Southwest Desert, we did it 10 years ago. And it's 3 months. And it's on average at least 3 days from water to water. Carrying no water. At least 3 days from water to water.
You fasted?
Well, whatever's needed is offered, Mataji. Whatever is needed is offered. It's quite a test. And one wouldn't start the walk without having a substantial amount of faith or practical belief that well, and the willingness to die if we're wrong. Otherwise, you can't do it. In the beginning, I did have that question that would come into mind every now and then, because here, spiritual path. What's it about? And then I'd like to offer these. There's a beautiful Upanishad. It's called the Mundaka Upanishad, and the Mundaka Upanishad starts. Well, it doesn't start exactly here, but it makes this point. It gives this visual image of two birds in a nest. There are two birds sitting in a nest. And one of them is very loud, very anxious, very much involved in the idea of separation, the feeling of lack, the longing, the fear, the anger, the greed, all this is very loud, it's very emotional, very, very strong-willed. And the other is almost the opposite nature. It's very quiet, it's very centered, it's very much undisturbed. It is of the nature of pure and absolute love. This is the nest. And the two birds are here. And so spiritual path is really about discovering who we are, who we really are, and learning within us what can be trusted, what can be held on to. We talk about detachment in spiritual path, but it's actually both. It's detachment and attachment both. Swami Sankarananda, his last two words, detach, attach. Learn what you can hold on to, learn what you don't want to hold on to. And in a simple way, we would say, learn how to let go of that awful bird that is just telling lie after lie after lie. And then we've been following for a while, and we keep getting lost in following it, and hold on to the quiet one that is of the nature of fearlessness and absolute love. And so that's where Peace Pilgrim was living, was in that place, in this place. So Peace was asked in her, I think, second year or something like that. She was asked this question. She was on a radio show, and she was asked the question, what are the steps towards inner peace? In other words, what are the steps to find this place within us? And she extemporaneously spoke what we're about to review. And she enumerated 12 steps. And she gave them in this order, and extemporaneously. 4 preparations, 4 purifications, and 4 relinquishments. 4 relinquishments. And the talk was recorded and transcribed, and it became this little booklet, which is, I don't know, it keeps being given away. I think there are 30 or 40 million copies around these days, something like that. And what I'd like to offer is we just read from it and discuss it a little bit. It turns out that she's provided us with a beautiful roadmap that helps us to, and it's quite authentic, that helps us to look at our lives and where we are, and perhaps help us with some guidance on the path. So who could pop up? Anyone? Who could distribute these? Could you distribute these? Okay, thanks.
The younger person.
There we go. And I'll give you the page number. And what I'd suggest is each one of us can read one of the 12 steps, and then we can discuss them a little bit and ask questions. And it's going to be on page 14. Now, Peace would say, when she would introduce these, she would say to us that these steps are not needing to be taken in a particular order. And as you read them and as we discuss them, you'll see that you've taken some already, or that you're very much consciously in the process of taking some of them already. So she would say they don't have to be taken in any particular order. and that each of us have already taken some, but she presents it in a beautiful, concise way for us. Okay. Page 14, this summary, 4 preparations. If we could read out loud, and we'll look for volunteers to read one at a time, and then we can discuss a little bit and see what we can get from there. Who'd like to start?
I'll start.
Beautiful, thank you, Swami.
4 preparations. 1. Assume right attitudes toward life. Stop being so escapist. By the way, I don't have my glasses on, so I'm going to read a bit slowly.
All right, reading glasses?
That's okay. I have some in the car.
Okay, very good.
Stop being an escapist or a surface liver, as these attributes can only cause inharmony in your life. That's a big one. Face life squarely and go down below the froth on its surface to discover its verities and realities. Solve the problems that life sets before you, and you will find that solving them contributes to your inner growth. Helping to solve collective problems contributes also to your growth, and these problems should never be avoided.
Thank you. Do we understand what she's sharing? Does it resonate?
There are no problems, only solutions. My uncle used to have taped on his desk. Big businessman.
And the solution is in the problem.
Right.
What we call a problem. What she's sharing, a beautiful way to see it.
In teaching
that's
ye
being
shall
shown.
learn, in learning ye shall teach.
Now,
It's the angle of vision, I think, as Holy Master Sivananda would say.
Oh.
Change your angle of vision as to how you're looking at a problem
beautiful,
or a challenge.
beautiful. Change the way you're looking at the thing. And we live in an age where it's very easy to run away. And frankly, I embodied that. So the capacity to run away.
We live in a society which encourages it.
We do.
Take a pill.
We do.
Don't have any
We do.
discomfort, dear.
We do. Take that drink, take the pill. Psychiatrists do. And it's easy to fly away. It's easy to leave someone in a relationship. But of course, what we discover, and I discovered very clearly, is if I left a situation, even if I moved across the country, I would be faced with exactly the same situation there, just different names and forms.
No matter where you go, there you are.
Yeah. So she's sharing this. This is part of what's underlying this. And there's one other, you'll see it in her writing, in her way of sharing. This beautiful method of recognizing inner peace or lack of peace, and it's harmony, inharmony, or harmony. She calls it inharmony, meaning discord or disharmony, and harmony. So, and this is a beautiful compass for us. Because you know that in music, for example, and this is something we all have the capacity to recognize when 2 notes are discordant, when they're not in harmony, correct? Mm-hmm. And that applies to everything. Now, we get confused about it because we think that disharmony or inharmony is out there. But really what's happening is it's here. And so, inner peace means solving this disharmony situation. And this is the way we would recognize it. you do know when the situation is peaceful. It's just there's an attribution of that situation being outside. And that when it becomes not peaceful, that's outside. It became not peaceful outside. But actually what we're working with is to find inner peace within us, which can't be reliant upon the situation outside. This is part of and again, the society seems to be built on the idea change the circumstance. But changing the circumstance doesn't fix the problem.
Right.
Because the disharmony or inharmony is not out there. What we're not recognizing is it's in here, it's in this psyche. And so spiritual path is related to finding that within us, which is harmonious, infinitely so. We can call it love, whatever we call it, but infinitely so, and tuning to it and finding it through the life, in and out. So this feeling of discord that we feel, and it's often very physical, yes? The feeling of discord, it's very physical and very much involved in the emotions. Yes? Something doesn't feel right, yes? If we can turn that around and say something doesn't feel right, and this is an opportunity to solve it here, in this life, in this situation. What's happening is the situation is bringing forward these vasanas, these tendencies, which are habitual habits, prior habits, which came from ignorance, that bad bird, that naughty bird that tells us these stories, that says there are others and they're the problem and they're the issue. And therefore, fear, anger, hatred, all of these, they've been arising, and in ignorance we thought it was up there. But actually the situation arises, we feel it here, that says, opportunity. Opportunity. Now how can I resolve this in here to come back to harmony? So she'll give this reference, and it's a beautiful reference for us, because if we can learn to apply this and have the fortitude to deal with it, we'll recognize, actually I don't want all peaceful situations. I want those which bring forward the opportunities that I need to deal with in order to be free. It does. So, okay. Who'd like to read the second one? Yes, please do.
Live good beliefs. The laws governing human conduct apply as rigidly as the law of gravity. Obedience to these laws pushes us toward harmony. Obedience pushes us towards inharmony. Since many of these laws are already common belief, you can begin to put into practice all the good things in you believe. No life can be in harmony unless belief and practice are in harmony.
Beautiful, thank you. Who'd like to who'd like to speak to that? How you hear it? Question, something doesn't feel right, anything. Please do.
I don't know, I'm having a little problem with the word belief.
Okay, please.
Belief. I think more, for me anyway, it's experiential.
Experience, okay.
You know, rather than belief can get, you know, it's not, it's slippery.
So let's give an example from her own life situation. Maybe that will help you see one in yours. Okay. So she's talking about laws. She sees that there are laws governing human conduct.
Okay.
Okay. Laws which would mean if we do a thing, something would happen to us, for example. Like that. In yoga, we would refer to the law of karma, and that would be very prominent in the laws that she sees. But she didn't know the word karma. So she says laws governing human conduct. So here's an example from her life.
And karma is the universal law of...
Governing human conduct.
Right, but it's what you do comes back to
Yes,
you,
yes.
as we would say in
Golden rule.
the golden rule.
Yes. And
Golden
that's
rule.
what she had
Right,
heard.
Right.
That was her life experience, if this can resonate.
Do unto others as ye would have them do unto you.
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
Why? Because there's a repercussion.
Yes.
If you do not do unto others as ye would have them do unto you, you will reap the repercussion.
Yeah.
Right.
So, her particular discovery of this, and part of what she relied upon as she grew, she was a teenager in school. The teacher brought a chart with the golden rule from many different traditions, because it's in every
scripture.
in every tradition.
Right.
Every scripture it's there. It's fundamental because it is a fundamental law.
Mm-hmm.
So, but she heard it in English, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. By the way, in the Jewish tradition, it's really beautiful because it's do not do to another what is hateful to you. Mm-hmm. So different spin on the same, yes? Mm-hmm. And it resonated deeply with her, and that is she was very much in tune, even from an early age, with this harmony and disharmony. When I say resonated, I mean it felt right. Mm-hmm. Have you ever had an experience where something just felt right, and you learned that to be true? Yeah. Okay. This is what she's talking about by belief, good beliefs here.
But it's
it feels right.
It's the experience is there.
Well, it's an experience that touches something within us. And then, now, what she also says is it felt right, so she didn't understand why no one did it. Right? She had eyes. She looked around there and she said, this seems correct. Why aren't we doing it? Why aren't we treating others the way we would want to be treated? And so what she's talking about here is, instead of focusing on that, why aren't other people doing it? Put it in practice ourselves. This is exactly what she's talking about. So does that resonate?
Yes, but I think it's a little, what I was, like the hot stove is going to burn you whether you believe it or not. You know, that's...
Because it's a law.
Because that's what I'm kind of going towards. It's experiential truth.
Yeah. And we do all, what she's pointing to, we do all learn sooner or later. We do. There's an issue that we deal with because it seems like the fruit doesn't come back right away. And because of that, we allow ourselves to be deluded and we imagine that it's disconnected. In other words, somebody says something to me and we seem not to have a clue that that's because I said something to someone else. At ashram, we had an ashram experience for 4 years. I'll just give you a little example. We had a beautiful Durga temple, and this is in the desert. And right next to the Durga temple was this most amazing colony of ants, and they're fire ants. And so we would tell everyone, be careful about the ants. Don't step on the ants. But some people were in their head, of course, and they would step on ants, or they'd go back to an old habit or something, and then they'd sit in the temple, and the ants would come to them and bite them. And we sitting there would point out the connection. But usually it's not that obvious. Yes. Right? But in fact, karma is an absolute law, we would say, from here. It's an absolute law. It is an absolute law. when we learn it and see it in our lives, we will stop questioning it. We'll realize it's an absolute law. It's the way it works, and our behavior will change. Through experience, it'll come. But we also have to put it together. And what we learn is the moment we think, say, or do whatever it is, the fruit is already here. Because it's both. It's both. Okay. So anyway, this is the point. So thank you for the question. This is what she's speaking. And she's just saying, as preparation, you have beliefs and expectations about the way people should behave. So let's, instead of being concerned about them, as a practice, let's try to practice those beliefs ourselves. That's her guidance. Okay. Who'd like to take the third? Yes, please.
Okay. Find your place in the life pattern. You have a part in the scheme of things. What that part is, you can know only from within yourself. You can seek it in receptive silence. You can begin to live in accordance with it by doing all the good things you are motivated toward and giving these things priority in your life over all the superficial things that customarily occupy human life.
Ooh. How does that feel? Please.
Well, I was stuck by the word superficial things.
Yes.
That's what we live in.
Well, it seems that way.
It seems that way that we
But
live.
maybe it just seems that way.
Yeah.
Maybe what seems superficial can be divinized. Maybe we can find something deeper in it.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe we can find something that more relates to meaning in life.
Yeah.
It seems like we very much live with these two birds.
Yeah.
From a very practical standpoint, we live with them. And one of them tends to make everything seem irrelevant. And another one would seem to be of the nature of stop and smell the roses. Notice the flower. Be kind. Like this. And so it seems that they're just two different views of
Yes. Yes.
of these experiences, and and to the point that Swami raised earlier, we also seem to live in a society that takes it this way, that it's not about the journey, it's about the destination. And the journey is irrelevant. It doesn't make any difference how you get there. It's only getting there that counts. And so we live in this Western society where we seem to just rush to get to the end. But actually the point of the journey is being present in the moment. And this is she gives guidance, and this is a very big challenge for us. Now, we're talking about Dharma, how to know what we're supposed to do in the scheme of things. We learn it's not, happiness doesn't have to do with money, it doesn't have to do actually with the thing that we do, but we need to be able to do something that we can, as it were, make our life's work or contribute in some way. And these days, I deal a lot with young people. When I'm with young people, this will be a question, because in the past, it would be obvious for many of us, we would do what our father did or our mother did or whatever, and maybe we grew up on a farm and we would farm, and my papa was an engineer and his papa was an engineer, like this. But in this age, this is all breaking down. And so it's a big question, what am I to do? And so her guidance is very practical. She just gives this guidance. She says again, the answer is in the question. And so, lizard, did he just crawl there? No. Yeah, he did.
He's hanging out near the warm lights.
Brown hunt in the form of a lizard. So,
Every house has one in Florida.
okay, beautiful, beautiful. I'm just enjoying it. So, she provided two options in guidance. The first one is ask the question inside and then practice receptive silence, which is one of the most practical suggestions she makes about anything.
Especially in this noisy world.
We're running so fast trying to get somewhere, having forgotten that we want to be here now.
And pummeled from the outside.
Yes. And right, the
Turn on a
senses are being bombarded from sense objects galore, and we lose our way so easily. And,
Well,
and
mass
so,
psychology, the mass psychology.
Oh.
You turn on a television, you're just pushed this way. You're pushed into thinking you're ill, you need a pill.
right.
You need to go this way,
Yes,
you need
yes.
to go that way. Pop psychology.
Thank God that there is something in each of us that doesn't accept that. Because otherwise we would all be lost, truly. And there would be no hope for us. Because the society would make it so. But I will testify, having walked pilgrimage for 2.5 years, I will testify that what the sages and saints talk about is absolutely the reality. That there is a golden string that connects each of us together, heart to heart, person to person, every single thing here, and the string is in charge. And the pilgrim gets to see it. So I'll testify, just as some testimony. And that's found in the silence. That string is found in the silence. The truth is found in the silence. You can't get it out there. In a way, it's beneficial that we can't get it out there because there's no place to run and find silence. We have to run into ourselves to find it. We have to find the way to find shelter within ourselves to find the silence. And so she gives this practice, which is don't try to answer the question in your head. Just ask the question in the mind and then take a walk in nature or sit. But practice receptive silence and it'll come. So that's her first suggestion on what to do. And the second is, it's very much like Joseph Campbell, if you've ever heard follow your bliss as a guidance, which is whatever you enjoy doing, do that. Just don't do it for yourself, do it for others. What messes it up is when we do it for myself, for money or whatever. But she gives a story about meeting a woman who was absolutely miserable. She was in the wrong job. She asked her a question, what do you like to do? The lady gave her 3 answers. I like flowers, I like to swim, and I like to sing. And Peace was a wise one, and very quickly she got it. She said, okay, swimming won't earn the money to pay for her food and such. And singing, she's not good enough to do either. But Peace had just met someone who owned a flower shop, and so she introduced them. And then she checked back on this beautiful soul a year later, and then over the years they talked again, and she worked in the flower shop where she absolutely loved working with flowers. She swam for exercise, and twice a week she went to the retirement home and played the piano and led honky-tonk songs with the residents, the kind of songs that they love to do. And so she found a life with meaning in it.
By
so
doing
this
what
too.
she liked to do.
Yeah. The thing is, we like to do it and then we want to get something from it, and that's what screws it up. But to do it as an offering, or simply even just to do it, just to do it, will allow us to find joy. Oh, okay, who'd like to read the 4th preparation?
I can do it.
Please.
Simplify life to bring inner and outer well-being into harmony. Unnecessary possessions are unnecessary burdens. Many lives are cluttered not only with unnecessary possessions, but also with meaningless activities. Clutter I just have to laugh because it's like me.
What happened? The bell went off?
Cluttered.
It
Cluttered.
happens,
Going
doesn't
home,
it?
clean out that closet tonight.
Cluttered lives are out of harmony. Lives and require simplification. Wants and needs can become the same in a human life, and when this is accomplished, there will be a sense of harmony between inner and outer well-being. Such harmony is needful not only in the individual life, but in the collective life too.
I think that resonates, yes.
That really resonates, yeah. Our wives, we actually moved from the house as a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, living room.
Yes.
There's lots of space, and there's only 2 of us.
Yes.
And we moved to a 1-bedroom condo. So that was really, you know about it.
Oh, that's right, you did it 2 years ago. I was here when you were,
Yeah.
and I stayed in that place.
Talking about uncluttering, that's what happened. Like, it's still going on. But the thing that I learned with that was that when you do even physical uncluttering, it touches the other side of your mind too. The load you have in your brain,
Yeah.
what you have to take care of, all those unnecessary tasks.
Indeed. Indeed. And this is really where the clutter is, but the physical helps us to get here, deal with this too. But she would say, and I feel like everybody here can see it, she would say, anything that you have that is beyond the need, and anything that is beyond what you actually need, instead of you owning it, it owns you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's true, yeah? But she would say need doesn't mean that everyone's need is the same. She said, I'm a pilgrim, and so she would, hold up the tunic and say, look, I have all that I need here, but this is the role I'm given. Someone in the family pattern will need a place for the child to grow up and to play and like this. So she said, and then she would say, so find your need level. Find your need level, and the preparation work is to get there. Whatever that is. Okay, anything else on that one? No, it's good. Okay, who'd like to read the first of the purifications? Is everyone ready? I'll read one. But I know there's 6 of us, and we've only read 4 so far. So there will be one more who hasn't read yet. Okay, first purification. Are you free from all bad habits? In your diet, do you stress the vital foods, the fruits, whole grains, vegetables, and nuts? Do you get to bed early and get enough sleep? Do you get plenty of fresh air, sunshine, exercise, and contact with nature? If you can answer yes to all of these questions, you have gone a long way towards purification of the bodily temple. Please hear, she calls, it's really, in my experience, about the best way we can refer to this body. It's not me, but often when we hear it's not me, then we ask the question, well, then I don't need to care for it. It doesn't make any difference what I do to the body. But she uses the term bodily temple. Bodily temple, which is a beautiful relationship to have. If we can hear that, it's not mine. Whose is it? Well, whoever the creator is, created it. And ownership would imply that you had something to do with creating something, wouldn't it? So if you create a flower pot, then you could claim some ownership in it. But did you create this body? And so whoever created it, it would still be theirs, I think. Do you remember buying it? So, but it is a place that we came. We're here in this body, yeah? So to do what? Well, you know, that was, I really enjoyed, and not enjoyed laughing, although there's some of that, but the story that Viktor Frankl shares, Man's Search for Meaning. It's just a beautiful allegory to spiritual path. And if we don't know, he was a prisoner in various concentration camps in World War II. He was collected from his home, put in camp. The first day, people were sent left to right, and he was in the right, and all the ones that were in the left walked direct over to the ovens, and he asked, where are they? And someone pointed to the smoke and said, that's where they are. So it's absolutely the worst situation that one could imagine being placed in. But several found meaning in life, and he quoted Nietzsche saying, when there's a why, the what or the how becomes very much less important when there's a why. And so he points to meaning. And we could say, yes, if life is meaningless, it's completely empty, yes? So where did we come to find the meaning? His view, he formed this branch of psychology called logotherapy, which is very much parallel to yoga path, very much parallel. Very much centered in the same idea, very much involved in counseling, but the point is, he says that we're all here in order to find meaning, that this is what solves it for us. A meaningless life is a life with no joy, with no satisfaction, yes? But if we find the meaning, then all of that goes away. And the greats would say, we will find the meaning in the same place. They'll say something like this, but still we have to find it. And we as individuals have to find it. So what she's sharing is, this is where we came to find it. So it is the temple in which we will find what it is that we came seeking, came looking for. Oh. Okay. Any other comment or question on that one? Okay, who'd like to read? Who didn't read one? Yeah. Okay, please.
Purification of thoughts. It's not enough to do right things and say right things. You must also think right things. Positive thoughts can be powerful influences for good. Negative thoughts can make you physically ill. Be sure there's no unpeaceful situation between yourself and any other human being. For only when you have ceased to harbor unkind thoughts can you attain inner harmony.
Beautiful, thank you. Peace Pilgrim, there's a body of work. So there's a documentary on her that contains footage, and she met with college classes and had a number of interviews while she was in the body. And so I'm very much a student. There was the practical aspect, but also the way that she relates our spiritual path. You see it. It's very simple and very beautiful, very direct. And so I've watched her a lot. And this quote, she says, if you knew the power of your thoughts, you would never think a negative thought again. If you knew the power of your thoughts, you would never think a negative thought again. Buddha says that being angry with someone is like trying to kill them by taking poison. So, and then peace, she would laugh, she would make a point, she would say, I don't eat junk food and I don't think junk thoughts. Just like this. So.
But they are connected, right?
Sorry?
they are connected, what you eat. And
They are connected. Yeah, so she started with the bodily temple. What we learn in yoga, the subtle part of what we eat, the physical food, the subtle part of it, the energy of it, becomes the mind, becomes intertwined with the nature of thought and very predominant in the nature of thought. So if you have a nightmare, generally speaking, if you have a nightmare at night or they're repetitive nightmares, look and see if you're eating hot, spicy food.
Or onions.
Or onion. And that's, yes. This is why the great yogis will say, no onion, no garlic. We won't see the connection. So, okay. Would like to read the next.
Purification of the desires. Is that what we're on?
Yes.
Since you are here to get yourself into harmony with the laws that govern human conduct, and with your part, and with your part in the scheme of things, your desires should be focused in this direction.
Your voice, as you read, is very similar to hers. It's from here, it's uncanny and quite beautiful. So we've heard interpretations of spiritual path where it sounds like desires are bad, that we're not supposed to have desires. Is that correct? Have we heard that? So that's not...
That's the highest goal.
Yeah, it's not correct. It's the highest goal.
Necessarily where we start or where we are.
Actually, we don't get anywhere without desires. That's the thing.
There's no end to desire.
Correct. The only the desire to be free of desires will clear you. And that will become a desire at some point when you've climbed the tree. But on the way, what she's suggesting is you need desire. To move, you have to desire. But instead of desiring things for the body, instead of desiring things for the image, desire that which will benefit you in terms of finding meaning in life. So we give an example. We learned that we're breathing terribly. I learned this early on coming into yoga. I learned I had terrible habits related to breathing, and I learned what that did to my thoughts. I learned the direct relationship. And I saw very clearly that beneficial breathing, proper breathing, brings more purity in the body and very much in the mind. Just one-to-one connection. So I desired to learn how to breathe properly and to practice it. Does that make sense? So a very beneficial desire. This is what she's talking about. A desire to eat properly, a desire to be in satsang, to have friends that have an interest in spiritual path and spiritual endeavors, in relating to meaning, something important instead of the trivial like that. These are all very beneficial desires. This is what she's talking about. Okay. Any other question or comment on this? So it's not, and yes, eventually. Yes, eventually. But Swami Premananda, who you met in class many times, I would hear him say, the last desire is the desire to be free of desires. And like that. Okay. Number 4, who would like to read? Yes, please do.
Purification of motives. Obviously, your motive should never be greed or self-seeking or the wish of self-glorification. You shouldn't even have the selfish motive of attaining inner peace for yourself. To be on the surface to your fellow humans must be your motives before your life can come into harmony.
I just need to add this, which is the desire for inner peace, the desire to have a peaceful life will be very helpful up until when it's not. So don't renounce it yet. But there will come a time in the path where this will shift. And it's no longer important for me to be at peace. It's important to be a messenger of peace. It's important to help to bring peace into situations. In other words, it'll shift. And when it shifts, that is when you'll experience inner peace. It will remain fleeting to some extent until that shift happens.
But it says here selfish motives
Yeah.
attaining inner peace for yourself. So
She
how
says,
do
she says you will finally have to let go of that to have it. Does that make sense? That you'll finally have to let go of the motive of your having inner peace
Oh.
in order to have inner peace.
Oh, okay.
Remove the I, the mine,
Yeah.
the me.
That's why.
There you go. And this is really what we're working to do is erase the I, me, mine.
Okay.
But we're so accustomed to taking the I, me, mine as being who we are.
Yeah.
It's not. So, but that's it. And you will remove it. So you'll get there. And we see this often. We see it with people who are meditating. And they've developed a very good meditation practice. And what motivated them to the meditation practice was to have inner peace. But they reach a point where the meditation goes to heck. And that's the point. And this is the conversation we'll have. You can't do it for yourself anymore. This is what you're being told. This is what you're being told. So now you have to teach meditation. Now you have to help others to learn how to meditate. And when they actually try it, everything switches again. So it's just like this. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall know peace. Something like that. But selfish motive, meaning, when we come back to Golden Rule, we'll see it, which is, if I put myself first in anything, then I'm actually putting myself last. If it's true that what I do comes back to me invariably, this will be based on the intention and the motivation. So if I do in order to get, then it'll be taken away. Or the joy of it will be taken away. But if I do in order to give, in order to offer, then I'll experience what I'd always wanted.
You give because it's the right thing to do,
Yes. Yes.
and for that only.
Yes.
You don't think of them, me, anything.
Ultimate,
Give because it's the right thing
Yes.
to do.
ultimately, it has to come to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We also recognize that we have to talk within ourselves and guide within ourselves.
Constant inner dialogue.
Constant inner dialogue, and we don't
Now,
want to be
you know
following
coffee
it.
is not good for you.
Yeah. There you go. Talk to yourself. Self-talk, however we call it.
Mommy, I want my coffee.
And you'll find one of the birds is there, and it talks back, and sometimes it screams at you, yes? But don't identify with it. Don't mistreat it either, because it will mistreat you. But lead it, guide it out of the darkness. And it will follow. Eventually it'll follow. Eventually it will become compliant. But along the way, it's a tough one. So, okay. So now we come to purification of, no, we finished the purifications. Relinquishment of self-will. The 4 relinquishments. Who'd like to read that? Would you? Dear, would you like to read the first? First relinquishment?
Relinquishment of self-will. You have, or it's as though you have, 2 selves. The lower self that usually governs you selfishly, and the higher self which stands ready to use you gloriously. You must subordinate the lower self by refraining from doing the not good things you are motivated toward, not suppressing them but transforming them so that the higher self can take over your life.
She says at this place, once we've successfully relinquished self-will, and it's very delicate because we'll have all different ideas about what this means, but we find she gives a really good description of it here. Self-will in this case is very specifically small s. It's that bird, that very loud, noisy bird that keeps saying, I, me, mine. And we quit following it. We quit following it. So relinquishment of self-will doesn't mean to give up. It means to give up. Give up. So learn to honor the light within us, the intuitive nature, the wisdom within us, and the work is to follow it, to connect with it, and to guide this lower nature to support it. So we can't actually avoid dealing with the lower nature, but we can't follow it. When we follow it, it always results in suffering. And by the way, everyone here, this human birth is a mixed birth, which means, very simply, everyone who took birth here in these human bodies has these mixed karmas and is dealing with both birds. Very practically speaking. So we're all working it out. Ram Dass says we're all walking each other home like this. So in other words, we're all dealing with the same thing. So of course we see a society where this is forward. It's because everyone's dealing with it. But we're all learning it, and we will all learn it. Our focus is to do our best to learn it ourselves and apply it. And that helps everyone. This learning it ourselves and applying it helps everyone because it brings a shift in the energy, a shift in the ether even. So, but she says once we've accomplished this, which is find within our life, within ourselves, that which is meaningful, and bring that to the fore, and take the I, me, mine out of the equation. Because that I, me, mine, that assertion, I need, I want, they did, all of this, ultimately, that's the cause of suffering. Following that is the cause of suffering. The light is silent, but it's real. It's more real than anything. The steps that she's given up to this point take us here, which is where we can begin to see the two selves within us. The two birds, the two selves. I'll give this example. Walking pilgrimage, I would see a tin can or trash or something all the time. Have you ever seen a piece of trash when you walk? Everyone has, right? Do you notice within yourself an urge to pick it up? Mm-hmm. And do you also notice that there are thoughts that arise about why you shouldn't? Mm-hmm. If this weren't the case, there wouldn't be any trash out there. So this is very specifically the two me's, or the two birds. It's very specifically it. That urge to pick it up is love, which has no issue, no problem. Love has no problem. Love is just full of opportunity to love. And from this place, whatever there is to do in the name of love would be done. So this is within you. It's very real. It won't stop. It's quiet. It's persistent. Yeah? But also, this other is very much occupied in the mind. And it's asserting, I don't have the time. I can't be bothered. It's not my problem. I didn't do it. You see, it's the whole I, me, mine training. And then we have a choice to make. And when we make the choice, when we find in our own lives that this choice is here, and the choice is every moment, but at some point we can make the choice for good and be done with the choice thing. The choiceless choice, sometimes it's called like this. And now we're learning what it means to abandon self-will. It means to abandon the I, me, mine. But at the same time to have learned how to connect to the light within us and take it as our guide. And when this happens, Guru, however we relate to it, when this happens, inner peace, everything's resolved. It's resolved inside, but also your view of the world changes. Really, there is this switch that happens. It's not just in a moment. It's a process, but you'll see it. That you no longer see problems. You don't live in a world of problems any longer. You live in a world where everybody's working it out. And everyone will get there. And we're introduced to each other because we can be of support to each other on the path.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? And this is what we do. Peace embodied this and showed it so beautifully that in any situation, she said she had her tests, but in any situation she would only see the goodness. And the way she talks about it, we'll get it in one of the next relinquishments. She would say, yes, people can be very psychologically ill, but that's actually veiling the goodness that's at the center. And we can come to see the goodness and see the psychological illness both. And then we know what to do. We know how to be of assistance. Yeah? Oh, okay. So there's peace from this place. And then she has 3 more relinquishments. Who'd like to read the next one?
No.
Please. Why not?
You can't read.
Would you like to read the next one?
I'll read it. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
What is it? Where are we at?
It's number 2 on
Lost
page
in the
16.
top. Yeah. Relinquishment of the feeling of separateness. All of us all over the world are cells in the body of humanity. You're not separate from your fellow humans. You cannot find harmony for yourself alone. You can only find harmony when you realize the oneness of all and work for the good of all.
Just a view. You know how we each experience the feeling of being separate and the feeling of lack. I need something. Yes? Or they did this to me and that's a problem. These feelings. You know how we all have this experience. That actually is the expression of the ego sense. And it's a false flag. It's a false. It's very interesting because we live in this very strange and interesting age. But one of the scientific discoveries is that there's not actually any separation. And the physicists, they can't talk about it. Because how can you talk about that in this society? So what they focus on is how it is that it appears that there is separation. But in fact, through exploration, they've not yet found the cause for time, because time is completely relative. And they don't find how separation exists. What the yogi discovers, and what do we mean? We mean the spiritual practitioner, and each of you have had moments of it. Have you had a moment where you were very much alive and you did not feel the sense of lack? Have you had that moment? Sure you have. Have you had a moment where you felt supremely happy? Yes, right?
So much alive.
Yeah, okay. In that moment, did you feel that you were missing something? Okay. Did you feel separate?
No.
No. Okay. There you go. We call that meditation, the experience of meditation, where the mind is single-pointed. You felt alive, correct? Very much alive. But the sense of I, me, mine, the sense of need, the sense of lack, gone. In that moment, it returns very quickly. It returns very quickly. You have to look at a moment to catch it, to see it. Yeah. What we learn is that the feeling of separation is false, and that it's actually possible at this point to set it aside, to renounce it. Yeah. What does it mean to live a life without feeling separate? It's a good meditation. What does it mean to live life without feeling separate? This is what she's speaking to, and we'll take it as a goal. But what she's speaking to is actually the capacity to renounce, to set aside that feeling of being separate, and step into a world where there is no separation. Where you see your own divine self inside of you and outside of you. Would like to read the next relinquishment. We have two more. We'll just read them as they are, and then we'll close.
Relinquishment of attachment. Only when you have relinquished all attachment can you be really free. Material things are here for use, and anything you cannot relinquish when it has outlived usefulness possesses you. You can only live in harmony with your fellow humans if you have no feelings that you possess them. And therefore, do not try to run their lives.
Oh. And who'd like to read the fourth relinquishment? Would you like to do it, please?
Excuse me?
The fourth one, the last relinquishment,
Yeah, okay.
would you like to read it,
Yeah.
please? Okay, thank you, dear.
Relinquishment of all negative feelings. Work on relinquishing negative feelings. If you live in the present moment, which is really the only moment you have to live, you will be less apt to worry. If you realize that those who do mean things are psychologically ill, your feelings of anger will turn to feelings of pity. If you recognize that all of your inner hurts are caused by your own wrong actions, or your own wrong reactions, or your own wrong inaction, then you will stop hurting yourself.
Thank you. She gives just a little bit more color from her on that she provides. She says, one last comment about negative feelings, which helped me very much at one time and has helped others. No outward thing, nothing, nobody from without can hurt me inside. Now she's stating this for herself, but she's inviting us to realize it also. No outward thing, nothing, nobody from without can hurt me inside psychologically. I recognized that I could only be hurt psychologically by my own wrong actions, which I have control over, by my own wrong reactions. They are tricky, but I have control over them too, or by my own inaction in some situations, like the present world situation that needs action from me. When I recognized all this, how free I felt. And I just stopped hurting myself. Now, someone could do the meanest thing to me. Someone could do the meanest thing to me, and I would feel deep compassion for this out of harmony person, this psychologically sick person who is capable of doing mean things. I certainly would not hurt myself by a wrong reaction of bitterness or anger. You have complete control over whether or not you will be hurt psychologically, and anytime you want to, you can stop hurting yourself. Now, this may seem pretty radical, but actually it's true. And to the extent we can recognize it, and it's absolutely true. We live in a time where so much is being done, so many people are screaming and yelling, hitting each other, pulling out knives and guns and going to war with each other. There's so much of this in this time. The anger is boiling over, yes? Does it have to hurt me psychologically? Do I have to participate in it? Do I have to contribute to it? Do I have to see people in the same way that I'm seen? As a this or as a that? And the answer would have to be no. I don't have to. We'll all find that we have reactions, reactive tendencies that would be very much in alignment with it. But when we choose, there is a process through which we can change them. We have access to will, power, and to discernment, viveka. So we can change them. She said it's tricky. Seeing that, to the extent that we can see it, we can and will cease to be a victim. Yeah? As soul, nothing here could hurt me if I am not this body. And you don't have to go there. It's just a matter of seeing psychologically that wrong reactions, wrong actions will hurt me. And others too, yeah. Yeah, they'll contribute to the same. And that we have a choice. Okay, we should close. We're at that time. Is it beneficial? Is the discussion beneficial?
Really good.
So these are what you have there for you. We have more if you have anyone you'd like to give one to. We have more, so please, we were just restocked. So it's lovely, yes?
Yes.
Good. Good. Any other observation or question or point? One last, and then we'll close.
Everything was beautiful, perfect for all of us, right?
Yes, dear.
When you said about oneness, I had an experience a few years back. I went to a workshop that was closed. We
Yes.
didn't go off premise for anything. We all stayed together and we worked maybe 8-10 hours a day for 10 days. And we didn't really talk a lot. We had our little
Beautiful.
thing, working. And when the workshop was over, I went outside and I'm like, I know these people.
You felt so close to them.
And they were from Antarctica, from Alaska, from Spain. It's like
Yes.
I never met them before in my life. It was almost like deja vu, I was
There you
going
go.
like, I know these people.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing this. The point of unity is in every one of us. It's inside. It's in the silence.
Well,
The way we find unity isn't by talking, it's by finding the silence together.
Yeah, well, we were pretty silent in the workshop, but I said something to the instructor. I said, oh my God, And she said, of course, you share divinity.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. That's it. Silence is the divinity. So the bond is real. The separation is imaginary. It's
I can
illusory.
remember that feeling like it was euphoric, you know, it was like,
There you go. So there's your experience.
yeah.
And that is meditative experience.
And there was like 30 people.
Beautiful. Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing. And that helps touch, I think, with everyone. So, yeah, thank you. There you go. We have silent retreats together. And they're just weekend, 2 days total. We start on a Friday evening. We'll have 10 this year. One is 1 week long. We call them Be Still and Know Silent Retreats. And we just get people that are interested together, and we start Friday evening, we end Sunday at 3 p.m. And we practice just like this for 2 days and change. And so we're careful to do it in a container of silence where we're not sharing stories and all of that, which would be the mental tendency. And without fail, every single retreat, and we've had 100 and something by now, everyone feels just like this about everyone in the group. There's this closeness, and it's unity. It is the unity, which is natural, which is...
It's hard to describe, you know, it's really hard for if someone has it. But the workshop was painting, we did painting, so
Beautiful.
we were involved with our own, you know,
Yeah,
painting, so, yeah.
yeah. Thank you. Beautiful. That's it. There you go. So you can see that's a deep experience, which means it's far more real than the surface level, but that depth is in everything. It's in the center of everything. Swami Premananda would say this. He'd say, in order to enjoy the world, you have to treat it like a banana. You peel it first. Get below the froth, get below the surface, below the thoughts, get to the unity, to the divinity, and then you can enjoy it. And that's the experience. Beautiful, thank you. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
Can you keep doing this until tomorrow morning?
Sorry?
Can you keep doing this until tomorrow morning?
You feel it, don't you?
I'd love to be doing this more often.
It's you feel it. We call it sattvic.
I'm sorry, I can't
sattvic
express
energy.
myself, so that's why I keep it quiet, but I can receive the
And the best advice
Appreciate
for us when we do separate this evening is not to separate. That is, keep the container. We will chant some mantra here together. We'll ring the bell a little bit. We'll chant some mantra. We'll accept the offering of the light, arati. And then we can hug or anything like this to symbolize this togetherness, this unity. And then try to keep silent and stay in the envelope tonight. Allow yourself to get to bed in it. And you'll find the way that you wake up beautifully in the morning as well, very refreshed. It helps us to see how we want to live our days, honoring the unity instead of honoring that naughty bird weaving that other story.